Hi everyone, Comic Book Reviewer here. This time reviewing on Batman issue 404. Now, as you know, Batman Year 1, much like the 1987 Wonder Woman reboot, as well as Superman Man of Steel, was meant to be a clean slate to the original three DC superheroes, giving them new revamp origins. And also, the whole point of Frank Miller's story is meant to go with this much younger, more unexperienced Batman. But of course, the story would also be used for Earth 31 for the whole Dark Knight Returns series, while some elements of the story was used for the New Earth Batman story. And the cover has a young Bruce Wayne looking at his dead parents. So let's get on with the story. The story mainly starts off where Gordon is boarding a train, hoping that his wife Sarah is okay on the plane, and worry about, bringing his wife into Gotham. At the same time on the plane, we see how a much younger Bruce Wayne is coming back from his long trip. Just as Gordon's being pestered by a sort of Buddhist priest, we see how Arnold James Flash ends up, assaulting the guy and tries to kind of be Jimmy's friend, showing him to Commissioner Flash. And right away, we see how Bruce Wayne ends up kind of being asked by press about his trips and all that. And we kind of see how Gordon ends up meeting Commissioner Loeb, and right away, Loeb isn't this kind of guy who seems like a professional, as he seems to have toys around his place, he doesn't really seem to take his job too seriously, and it's kind of implied and shown to be easily corrupt. And we kind of see how Bruce Wayne meets up with Alfred and decides to keep doing his training to perfect being the hero Gotham needs. And we kind of see how after Flash and Gordon search around the area, we see how Flash ends up assaulting a black teenager, and it's heavily implied Flash is racist and beats up people from other cultures and backgrounds just to get a few kicks. And even Gordon knows he needs to keep his facts straight before bringing Flash down, and not wanting to kind of wrongfully accuse him of something. And right away, we kind of see how Gordon realizes it's a comb, but Flash acts like he did nothing wrong. And in the coming months, we kind of see how Gordon is taking a stand with the Gotham Police Department due to its corruption, as well as Bruce perfecting himself to be this kind of fighting, killing machine. And right away, we see how Commissioner Loeb gets pointed out by Flash, everything that Gordon's been doing, and of course, Commissioner Loeb says, "I had such hopes for that boy. I could get the boys together, soften him up. Not while I'm in town. There's enough heat on me as it is. No, you have to wait until I'm at that conference at Washington. 2 weeks, Flash." And right away, we see how at March the 11th, Bruce gets ready to kind of do his sort of way of getting into the criminal underworld, knowing its element. And we kind of see how Gordon gets confronted by Flash and his crew, and they beat the merciful crap out of him with baseball bats and leave him for dead. We see how Bruce goes through the red light district, ends up meeting a young girl until her pimp says that she's doing it all wrong, and right away we kind of see how the pimp gets weird and of course confronts Bruce, and even Selina Kyle notices something's off about this guy. But we kind of see how Bruce uses his tactics to try and handle the situation, but of course takes down the pimp single-handedly. The young girl known as Molly stabs him in the leg. Everyone tries to go for Bruce, and this is where we see Selina goes like a hunter for the kill, and this is where they both try to duke it out. But the police try and take down Bruce, and this is where we see they open fire at him, and they say, hey, he didn't move, man. He was going to. Needs a doctor. Maybe after he's booked. And right away, we see how Bruce is taken into the police car, manages to get out single-handedly, and by using his skills, takes out the two Gotham police officers and crashes their car, but manages to get out, but manages to get the police officers away safely. And we see how after getting out, back into his car, Bruce tries to basically hold on to dear life to get back to the manor. And we see how Gordon decides to take Arnold Flash down on his own. And we kind of see how, yeah, because of Bruce's reckless driving, we kind of see how he tries to kind of get back to the manor in peace. But we see how Gordon decides to confront Flash after what he did. And right away, he knows this is a personal matter of war. And after confronting him, he manages to take him down, shows off his fighting skills, and leaves him in the woods. And we see how Bruce manages to get back to the manor, holds on to dear life, and decides to try and call for Alfred. But of course, remembers everything in his life that happened to the day of seeing the film Zorro, from his parents being gunned down by Jill Chill, and yeah, remembering what happened that day, and suddenly, like a sign of hope, the bat comes, and this is where Bruce finds his symbol to give people hope again, the hope of the bat. And this is the story. So I think the first part of Batman Year One is an interesting start to the whole Dark Knight story. Not only is it meant to be Bruce Wayne's story about finding a symbol, but finding hope, but Gordon's story is more about seeing the corruption in places, showing concern and worry that it might be going too far. It's a good introduction to a newer take on the Batman series, and doing something new and completely different. And obviously, after Crisis on Infinite Earths, it made sense it had to do something new, completely different, but clearing the ball to start again to bring in new leaders. So it definitely deserves a thumbs up. Not bad, not great, but a good introduction to the whole New Earth Batman storylines. So, Comic Viewer here, signing out.